Good morning, Martin here with your daily Newsround update, and it's a record breaker. Yes, keep watching to see the end of this record-breaking goal from Rangers. And another record, but this time a massive fountain in Dubai. First though, last night saw US President Donald Trump and his challenger Joe Biden clash once again in the final big debate before the election to decide who the next president of the United States will be. There's 11 days to go until the big vote, but more than 47 million people have already had their say, with record-breaking numbers voting early due to the coronavirus. The two men argued over how to deal with the virus, while on climate change, President Trump claimed Mr. Biden would destroy the country's oil industry by focusing on renewable energy. The subject of race was also a hot topic, with both men accusing the other of failing on the issue.
And all men and women are created equal. Well, guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it, but we've always constantly been moving the needle further and further to inclusion, not exclusion. This is the first president to come along and says that's the end of that.
Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you?
You
were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this. But you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing.
We did.
You know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run.
Next up, some football chat, because 5 British teams were in action for the Europa League last night. English sides Arsenal, Tottenham and Leicester all won their games. Scottish champions Celtic lost 3-1 to AC Milan in Glasgow. However, there was a moment of pure magic during the Rangers v Standard Liège match. Check this out. Wow, in the last minutes of the game, striker Kemar Roofe scored. That was a belter. The ball flew almost 50 metres before hitting the net, the furthest distance ever for a goal scored in the UEFA Europa League. Spectacular. The final score was 2-0. England footballer Marcus Rashford, who has campaigned for free school meals, has visited a new food bank warehouse named after his mum. Melanie Maynard's house has been set up in Manchester. The Man United player, his visit came a day after the government voted against extending free school meals to disadvantaged children in England during the holidays. Marcus Rashford said he was disappointed by the reaction from some MPs. Next, at 6:05 this evening, the second part of a new Newsround special featuring Formula 1 driver Lewis Hamilton will be hitting your screens. It's called Young, Black and British, Hear Us. We get to meet Zion, Isaiah and Mandy, who are young black teenagers who have all experienced racism growing up in the UK. They speak out about what life is really like growing up black in this country and why things urgently need to change. To get their message out there, they enlist help from role models like Lewis Hamilton. Here's a taste of what they get to talk about.
I hope you're all well. So I heard that you guys have written a manifesto.
One of my points in the manifesto was to have more minority ethnicities in higher leadership roles.
In my team, there's nearly 2,000 people, and we have a very small percentage of minorities currently, but I'm trying to encourage change from within. And now I work in an industry that is predominantly white. We were always the first and only black family on the scene. I thought that me being there representing for us would create a new pathway to get to the sport, but there's still so many obstacles, so many barriers.
Yeah, I feel like there's quite a large stereotype that a young black boy wearing a hood is seen as a criminal or a threat.
When I was younger, I was also pulled over multiple times just walking to town or walking through a store and someone assuming that I'm doing something because I'm someone of color or I was wearing a hoodie at the time.
I'm passionate about education because I want to try my best to introduce Black lives and Black history into the curriculum.
When I was at school such a long time ago, it was all about World War I and generally white history. And even worse for me was that they never acknowledged in those history lessons that there are actually black people involved in those wars and in those times. So I think education is the most important thing. Obviously, you've set this manifesto up now. How are you going to follow through with that? What's the next stages for you?
For me, I feel like even if it goes and it reaches one person, and then they can see that, oh yeah, I can relate to that, I want to see this, and then they give it to another person.
Racism in itself is a pandemic that's been going on for a long, long time. I've got a responsibility to try and help shift this so you guys have a better future, and then your kids have a better future.
Now, if you didn't manage to catch the first part last night, then they will both be on our website to watch, or you can always head to the iPlayer. Next, it's Friday, which is Strange Day. Here's this week's strangest stories, including dancing robots and giant cat art. First this week, we head to South America, where archaeologists have revealed this never-before-seen giant cat. The 37-metre-long feline figure is etched into a hillside in the desert in southern Peru. The art at the Nazca lines has been restored after 2,000 years of erosion. No one knows why they're drawn, but they seem to be positioned along pathways. Next, we've seen robot cafes, but this one has to win the award for best dancers. Look at these moves! They sing too with impeccable harmony, if you like that kind of thing. Instead of a human waiter, food is delivered by a robot, and the restaurant is kept clean by a robot cleaner who polishes the floor. Wish I could get a robot cleaner to come in and polish my floor, I tell you that. Finally, let's go deep into space for this awesome space mission. A NASA spacecraft has successfully descended onto an asteroid 200 million miles from Earth to collect a sample of ancient rocks. It had to dodge boulders the size of buildings and reach for a spot as small as a parking space with an 11-foot robotic arm to grab a minuscule amount of rubble from the asteroid. The lead scientist said he couldn't believe they pulled it off. Brilliant. Now, there's a brand new world record for the world's largest fountain. The Palm Fountain in Dubai covers a massive 14,000 square feet. It has 128 super shooters which can blast water up to 105 metres into the air and features 3,000 multicoloured lights. How impressive is that? Now, before we go, we know loads of you are looking forward to a slightly different Halloween this year, and lots of you have been in contact with us to tell us what you'll be getting up to. Aqua Fizzy Dolphin says, next week I'm going to my friend's house to watch a movie. Then on Halloween, I'm having a party with my sisters and a few friends. Bo told us they're having a family Halloween party with lots of treats and fireworks because this year's fireworks display is cancelled. I can't wait. Fluffy Sausage Dog says, I love Halloween this year instead of plastic decorations. We decorated our house by painting pumpkins and making a wreath out of autumn leaves. Thank you very much for your comments, guys. They're always great. Well, that's all from me today, but we're always online, so head over for loads more. We'll be back tomorrow. Happy Friday. Bye-bye.